What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Cig vs. Cig. Today I do have a cigarette video for you, and it's not just a cigarette review, it's a Cig vs. Cig. I know you guys love these. Today what I've got is I've got two kinds of cigarettes, and they're not Camels for once. I've got the Eagle 20 menthols. They're light menthols. I don't know if Eagle has full-flavored menthol or if they're just light menthols, but these are the ones that I have. These are the only ones that I asked for menthols, and I got these, which these are light. So I'm guessing these are the menthol of the Eagles. And then I've got the Eagle Red 20s. Now these are both 100s. They're longer cigarettes. I don't know what the deal is, why it says 20s, but anyway, we're gonna jump right into this. Let's do the menthol one first. We've got, for the pack presentation, we've got a it's similar to the red. It's got a dark green at the top, has the Eagle. It says Eagle 20s, and then it says menthol gold, which means light, I guess. See, it starts off as a dark green and then fades into a light green. And at the bottom we've got, it says 100s at the bottom. There you go. It says 100s. On the side we got the Surgeon General warning, which tells us we're gonna have cancer and die. And then on the side it says, what does it say? 20 Class A cigarettes. This is not a brand new pack. Smoke some of these. These are not bad cigarettes, but we're gonna do the review on these, and you guys are gonna hear firsthand of what they are and what they're like. At the bottom it says Eagle 20 menthols, menthol golds, whatever you say them, I don't know, but anyways, let's look inside the pack. We got the standard silver tinfoil. They've got white filters indicating that they are light cigarette, and I'm okay with lights. More of, like I say in my videos before, I'm more of a full flavored smoker, but lights are okay too. I'm good with whatever, I guess. Especially for reviews. Like when I do reviews, I like to do different kinds of cigarettes to show you guys different cigarettes, not just Camel, because like all the cigarette reviews that I have up so far are just Camels. But anyways, yeah, these are the Eagle 20 100s menthol gold. So let's take one out here. Presentation of the cigarette. It's just got two green bands at the bottom of the, well, I guess it's still on the filter, but it's towards the bottom of the filter. It's obviously got a white filter. The tobacco inside, medium to light colors, you can kind of see on the camera. I got it packed down okay. So just a pretty plain cigarette. It doesn't have much going on with it. It's just kind of a pretty plain cigarette. So I mean, it's like $3 a pack where I live, so it's gonna be a pretty plain cigarette, which they're fine. I mean, cheap cigarettes doesn't mean a bad cigarette. To some people it does, but for me it's whatever. So let's have a sniff. You can really smell the tobacco coming out of the paper. You can't really smell a lot of the menthol. I'm gonna smell the filter. See, they got some menthol on the filter. I kind of get a smell coming off the filter, but it doesn't smell like menthol. So I don't think this cigarette has menthol on the filter. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if you know. But like I said, pretty plain cigarette, like $3 a pack where I live. So anyway, smells. I can't really smell the menthol, but yeah, mainly just getting that tobacco smell. So let's light the cigarette up and let's talk about it. Check that body on here. But before I check the body, right off the bat you get that menthol sensation off the light up. It's a pretty good light up. You get that menthol sensation right off the bat, so it's really good. It is pretty light, but let's go ahead and check that body. Not a bad body at all. I know that the light is kind of having an influence on it, but it's not a bad body at all. Two hits off of that. That's what the ash looks like after 2 hits, which is typical for a cheaper cigarette. But like I said, these are not bad cigarettes. Like I said, you get that menthol sensation right off the bat with it. Let's go ahead and get the overall flavor, taste, and aroma on it. It's got a good, clean menthol flavor to it. I mainly just taste the menthol. I'm not tasting a whole lot of the tobacco, but typically with your light menthols, you're going to taste more of the menthol because it is a light So it's lighter on the tobacco side, more heavy on the menthol. You can really taste the menthol better. But anyway, guys, yeah, like I said, it's pretty light on the tobacco, but then heavy on the menthol. So if you like menthols and you're looking for a cheap cigarette, I would definitely recommend these. Definitely not a bad smoke. Definitely not a bad smoke. Like I said, $3 a pack where I live, so that's a very good price. Cigarettes are, the price on cigarettes is raising up. So anyway, guys, let's not inhale, but let's exhale through our nose, and then let's see what it smells like. Getting that menthol sensation in the back of my throat. Sorry about that train there. But I'm getting that menthol sensation on my throat, and when I exhale it out of my nose, I'm getting that menthol sensation in my nostrils. So let's do a deep inhale and see if there's any roughness down below. No roughness down below, down in the lungs. Like I said, this is a light cigarette, so I wouldn't really expect too much, irritation going down. And one thing I did notice about these is when I ash it, because they do kind of the ash gets kind of long. It's kind of hard to ash these if you can't. Yeah, see what I mean? It's kind of hard to ash these is what I noticed. But definitely not a bad cigarette. Definitely not a bad cigarette. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely not a bad cigarette. It's just hard to ash. That's the only thing I could say about it so far. With the problem it has is it is kind of hard to ash. Other than that, I don't really see anything wrong with it. It's a very good budget cigarette. It's very. I mean, if you like menthols, you like light menthols, and you're looking for something cheap, I would definitely recommend the Eagle Menthol Gold. And these are the 100s. These are not the shorts. So anyway, guys, let's do that body again just for the heck of it. Like I said, not a bad body. Even getting halfway down the cigarette, the body doesn't change much. Getting halfway down here. But it's definitely got a very solid menthol kick to it. Definitely. I can't really taste the tobacco, just mainly a menthol sensation. With me, I like menthols. I like full flavored regular cigarettes. I like either one. But this is definitely a good cheap menthol, and it's light. So if you're a light menthol smoker and you're looking for a cheap cigarette, like I say for the third time, definitely get these Eagle Menthol Golds 100s. They're definitely worth a try. But if you're somebody that's picky about their cigarettes and you just only buy cheap ones or expensive ones, you don't really care much for cheap ones, then I wouldn't buy these. But other than that, it's definitely good. The filter, since it is a light, I'm guessing that the filter is not gonna catch too much since it's lighter. It'll still catch what it's supposed to catch, but there's not going to be a whole lot to catch compared to a full flavored cigarette. Because with the full flavored cigarette, obviously you're getting heavier smoke, I guess, or whatever it is. But anyway, guys, yeah, the filter's catching everything like it should, and it's a light menthol, so it's not going to catch much. That's not what you'd expect. You wouldn't expect a light cigarette to catch a bunch of nasty stuff. You wouldn't want your. And the filter, another thing I gotta say about it, the cotton that's inside the filter doesn't really pull away. With a lot of cheap cigarettes that you smoke, the cotton on the filter will pull away from the paper. But with these, I'm not really getting that, as you can tell. It doesn't really pull away from the filter a whole lot. It's basically like it was when I first lit it up. So anyway, guys, this has been the Eagle Menthol Gold 100s, and let's go ahead and check that body again now that we're almost done with this. Like I said, guys, the body's pretty good for a light menthol. I know the light is having some influence on it, but it's pretty good. And another thing is, when you get closer down on these cheaper cigarettes, it gets pretty harsh. But I mean, you kind of expect that from a cheaper cigarette, but it does get pretty harsh when you're getting closer down to the filter. So anyway, guys, what I would rate the Eagle Menthol Gold, I would definitely rate that probably about a 7 out of 10, because it's my favorite menthol is a Camel Turkish Jade Silver. But you know, these are definitely not a bad cigarette. They're definitely not. I would definitely rate them a 7 out of 10. They're not bad at all. The only things I have to do, or to say anyway, to complain about it, is number one, it's hard to ash, and number two, when you get closer to the filter, it gets really harsh. And it is a light cigarette, so you wouldn't really expect it to get really harsh towards the filter, but it does get pretty harsh when you're just doing the body or whatever, like I did closer to the filter. It does get pretty harsh. So anyway, guys, what I'm going to do now is these are the Eagle 20s reds, and they are 100s as well. And the pack design, like I said, is pretty similar to the Menthol. They're pretty plain packaging. It's dark red at the top, then towards the bottom it gets kind of like fades into orange color. It's got the Eagle at the top, it says Eagle 20s red, then 100s at the bottom. On the sides you got the Surgeon General warning, and then you get the barcode and all that stuff. So we're going to pull one out here. And these, unlike the Menthols, these have the like kind of a gold double band, and these are not on the filter itself. These are on the just the kind of stub before you get to the actual where the tobacco's at. And these are your standard cork style filters, what you'd expect from a full-flavored cigarette. So let's get a sniff of it. Definitely, it smells very similar to the Eagle Menthol Golds. Not much difference in the aroma and the tobacco. It's kind of a darker. It's a little bit darker than the Menthol Lights because it's a full-flavored cigarette, and you'd expect that. So, anyways, let's light this Eagle Red 2100 up, and let's talk about it. Oh yeah. Now these, like I said, these are just the reds. These are not menthol or anything. These are just regular full-flavored cigarettes. These are gonna hit you if you've been smoking these all day. I've smoked quite a few of these today. If you've been smoking these all day, it's gonna definitely hit your throat immediately. Like once you light it up and you do that first inhale after the light, it's definitely gonna hit you in the throat. And so, you know, be ready for that. So let's check the body on the full flavored. Let's see if it's a lot larger than the Menthol Lights. Surprisingly, I mean, I'll do it again, but surprisingly, the body is actually not as big as the Menthol Lights, and that's a very big surprise because this is a full-flavored cigarette. But I guess there might be, my eyes aren't good enough to see perforations in the filters, but these are definitely, the body's not as big as the Menthol Golds, but like I said, my eyes are not good enough to see perforations, but I'm guessing perforations on the filter has something to do with the body, and I guess the filter is a little bit shorter than the Eagle Golds, I guess. But and I guess you got to take into account that it is a 100 as well, so the body might not be as big until you get closer to the end of the cigarette. But anyway, let's get the flavor, taste, and aroma off the cigarette. Just a standard cigarette flavor. I mean, like I said, these are a cheaper cigarette, and they're definitely not bad. I'd say, I mean, they're just kind of like just a standard cigarette. You'd see it, and then you just think it's just a cigarette. Like I said, nothing really special about the pack. It's just kind of plain packaging. And this is just your standard full-flavored cigarette taste. And being that it is a 100, being, you know, since it is longer, it's going to take some of the flavor. Until you get to like the end, you're not going to get a lot of the flavor. But yeah, and let's see if this is kind of harder to ash. Yeah, you got to flick it pretty dang hard. See, I had to flick it pretty hard to get the ash off that I needed to get off. But that's what I noticed about these Eagles. I don't know what it is. If it's the paper, if it's how they pack their tobacco inside or something like that. But they are kind of hard to ash, and that's one thing I do have to complain about it, because you don't want a bunch of ash just hanging off of here and then falling on your clothes. So you got to kind of ash harder to get it off, is one thing that I noticed. So let's go ahead and deep inhale this and just see if there's any roughness down below. You do get kind of a throat kick there. I mean, when it is a full flavored after all. It's a 100, but being that it is a full flavored and it's a cheaper cigarette, the throat hit on this is pretty harsh. If you're just getting a large hit and deep inhaling it, but they're definitely not a bad cigarette. So anyway, let's not inhale, but let's exhale through our nose and see how it smells. Yep, I'm definitely getting that sensation. It definitely is a throat kicker for sure. It doesn't really give me any sensation in the nostrils because the menthol does, because it's menthol. But for these, it's a full flavored, just regular tobacco, no flavored or anything cigarette. And so you're not going to get any sensation in your nose, but you will get it in your throat for sure because it is a full flavored cigarette. But like I said, these are not bad cigarettes. I mean, I like them. They're definitely a good budget cigarette. If I've only got a couple dollars, but I want to buy a pack of cigarettes, I'll definitely buy these Eagles because they're really not a bad cigarette at all. And let's check the filter. The filter on this, since it is a full flavored, and I'm not going to count yet because it's still like halfway, but it is definitely darker than the menthol was because it is a full flavor and it's catching all the stuff that the filter does need to catch in order to make to where you don't get, sorry, that was my friend, but it's catching what it needs to catch, basically. And being that it is a full flavor, it's going to look darker and it's going to catch more smoke and more tar and all that stuff. I'm guessing like in light cigarettes, the tar's not as heavy as the full flavored, and the nicotine is not as heavy as the full flavored, which is fine by me. I mean, I'm good with any cigarette, so I mean, it's definitely not bad. So let's check that body again just for the heck of it. Woo! Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay, so now that I'm halfway down, the body is bigger now that I'm halfway down, but that's not really what I'm focusing on. What I'm focusing on is just the throat hit and the nostril. Now I'm getting sensation in my nostrils and my throat because I'm getting about halfway now. And it is very unpleasant. If you're just testing the body on it, it is very unpleasant. I'm going to warn you when you get halfway down. Oh gosh. And then you can taste like all the chemicals and all the weird stuff in there, and it's definitely not pleasant when you're checking the body and you're making a big hit. So, oh man, but like I said, not a bad cigarette if you're just smoking it. But if you're reviewing it and checking the body and all that stuff, it's harsh. It is very harsh on your throat and in your nostrils when you go to check it. So just be advised with that if you're gonna buy some Eagles. And yeah, very harsh. So I'm gonna go ahead and rate this cigarette. We've just checked the body a second ago, so I'm guessing it's the same. But I guess I'll check it again just to kind of see where I'm at. Ooh. Like I said, that's very harsh. You can definitely taste those chemicals and all that stuff in there. Yeah. But it's definitely not a bad cigarette. What I would rate the Eagle Red, 20s, 100s, whatever. I don't know what the deal is with the 20s, like I've stated, but what I'd rate them a 6 out of 10. They're definitely not as good as the menthols, and they're a lot harsher. If it was like, I don't know, it's just, you can really taste the chemicals in these. And I mean, it's not a bad cigarette if you're getting a budget cigarette, but I definitely rate these a 6 out of 10. They're definitely not my favorite. Oh yeah. So anyway, guys, 6 out of 10. This has been the. Sorry about that paper, guys. This pack's this pack has seen better days. It's kind of bent up, but yeah. So the Eagle Red 20s, 100s versus the Eagle Menthol Gold 20s, 100s. Both very similar to each other in pack design, and they're just, they're definitely not a bad cigarette. The Eagle 20 menthols I definitely rate higher because they're not as harsh. But like I said, they're both good budget cigarettes for what they are, but the Eagle Reds are very harsh. But thank you guys for watching, and take care.